Champions League round of 16 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, March the 2nd. We are here to have a look back over the FA Cup round of 16 games, the fifth round action, which finished. It hasn't finished. There's still a game tomorrow. And then we've got a huge week of Champions League action. 8 games, 8 really good-looking games as well this week. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Pedaluna. Barry. I think you'd like to join me in saying a big well done to Anthony Gordon, first of all. And how are you today? You all right, son?
I'm all right. If I'm looking a bit red in the face, Malcolm, would you believe? Why do you think I'm red in the face?
Well, it's normally because you've just got out the bath.
In February. Couldn't be sunburn, could it? Couldn't possibly be.
You got sunburned?
I've got sunburn today, I'm looking rosy on the top of my head. Stood on the touchline for 2 hours with the kids' football. No, not a cloud in the sky. It's only 10 degrees. Like, it's not hot at all. But I stood there, funny enough, and I turned around to the bloke next to me. I said, I'm going to get burnt in this today. I should have had a cap on. And sure enough, I'm feeling very radiating tonight. Like, so I sunburnt and it's March actually. It's not February. But there you go. I didn't expect that, did you?
That's relatively impressive, Murray. I wasn't expecting that even a little bit. No, I'm my head's hot, but for a different reason mainly. What an absolute fucking shambles of a weekend, Barry. This could be quite a sweary one tonight. If you've got any children with you, we might break the record for F-bombs. It's been a shambles in 2 parts, Barry, from my point of view. I think, well, mainly 2 parts. I mean, there's the usual shambles, but 2 main parts. I think because I've got this dark cloud hanging over me for the impending cup final. That's absolutely leaked into every aspect of my life, and particularly my picks this weekend, which were just fucking terrible. Could not pick a winner to save me life. A mixture of... There was only a couple of bad picks, Barry. I think I picked 6 of the 7 teams to go through. So Brighton today being a decent price to qualify. Fulham would have been a decent price to qualify. There's quite a lot. But couldn't land on the right winning pick on any of them. How many team totals over 2.5 can I pick that finished 2-0? It's a record. It's an unholy record. I'm on an absolute streak of them. Man City v Plymouth, under 1.5 first half goals, which at no point looked in danger of losing. That was never, ever going to lose. It was 0-0 after 37 minutes. Then Plymouth score, which was never in anyone's handicap. That wasn't part of the game. And then I was running the bath, Barry, just as it got to half time. So they got the free kick on the edge of the box. I stood at the door and I said to the IT department, as long as they don't score here, I'm laughing and I'm going to go up the stairs and get in the bath. Floats a free kick in 1-1. And I messaged you straight away. I was like, fuck this, shambles. How did Bournemouth not win? No one knows. 8-minute VAR review. Yeah, like I say, absolutely entirely useless. And then, Barry, we talked on the show did we do it on Thursday night? We talked on the show about being delighted that we got out of Liverpool, having just sustained a very standard defeat and nothing terrible happened. Little did we know, Barry, little did we know that the football gods were sitting up there saying, look at these two dickheads, think they've got away with it. And this afternoon was an absolute disaster. We lost, which is fair enough. Former player scored. Tick that box for you. Yeah, no problem. Last minute winner for Newcastle, VAR'd off by a fanny set. Yeah, tick that box. And then the cruelest cut of all, Barry, Anthony fucking Gordon. The deja vu to the Nick Pope Liverpool thing was just unbelievable. The sense of the only difference this time was that everyone knew he'd be suspended. When Nick Pope got sent off, people were asking, is he going to be? People were frantically trying to get some signal to Google. Not today. I've no idea what any of that was about, Baz. So, yeah, have you got anything to say about it?
What, Anthony Gordon?
Any of it? It's all shit.
Any of it? I mean, the Gordon thing was just ridiculous. Absolutely stupid. Totally unnecessary because the whistle had gone. The play had stopped anyway. And you just think, like, the message must have gone out to these players for the last couple of games to say, nothing stupid. Like, particularly Gordon, who missed the last cup final. So he'll now be sat there again for the second time whilst we're in a cup final. He'll be sat on the sidelines. Absolutely stupid. I mean, I suspect Newcastle will appeal it. We've got no chance. No way that gets over.
Absolutely not.
So that would be a waste of time. I actually done all right with my picks. I took Brighton to qualify for a start. I had the Palace handicap. I had the overs in the Burnley game, 7-4. Burnley conceding 3 goals. That was obvious, wasn't it? And the City first half goals. I enjoyed that one. City over. Well, not City's first half goals in the City game, I should say. So those were the ones that matter to me. Is the ones where we were on the exact opposite sides. Once again, I come out on the winning side, as is pretty standard these days. So yeah, the City first half goals and the overs in the Burnley game were the two I wanted, and decent prices for both of them as well. So I was happy with that. Like you, a little bit unfortunate with that Bournemouth was. That was a shambles at VAR. You can't make players and fans wait 8 minutes for a VAR check. That shouldn't be allowed. Like, the players had to go down the away and get a football and like do their own little warm-ups to keep warm because it went on that long. It's just, I couldn't get my head around how that can be allowed to happen. Like, what is the cut-off? I mean, there isn't a cut-off. What if that took 20 minutes because things weren't working properly? Like, an absolute sham. 8 minutes is just, nah, you can't do it. There should be a clock in the corner, and if they can't decide by the time that clock hits 2 minutes, get away with it. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, at least Man United got beat. Yeah, that's all that.
That did save the weekend, really. That's kind of what we're living for, because there's something wrong with Newcastle.
Although even that, it ended up with a losing pick, because I think we both took the Fulham team total, didn't we, in the end?
Yeah.
So yeah, frustrating.
Yeah, there was, like I say, there was a lot of matches. I feel like I've been footballed out, Baz, like a bit jaded. It's the midweek slate, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we never had a night off. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was just too much going on. And then Saturday, the extra time penalties, all the today's football lasted too long. I went out at 1 o'clock to the Newcastle match. I just drove in and out as well. I didn't have a pint or anything today. Me and Bob went. And then all the injury time, extra time, all the fanning on. By the time we got back, it was 4:30 and the Man U game was kicking off. And then that didn't finish till I think that like took 2 hours and 42 minutes to finish. I was like, oh, just get on with it. Like, so yeah, footballed out. Definitely a little bit jaded, but we've done well in the Champions League the last few weeks. You what, mate?
It's not even over, is it? We've still got the FA Cup game tomorrow as well.
I know,
Still on. I'm
just going to be watching Forest. I have zero appetite to watch Forest v Ipswich. If I was trying to get like my 7th correct pick out of 8, I'd be buzzing to watch it tomorrow night. I couldn't give a shit, Barry. I could not care less about that game of football. Absolute shambles. But we have done quite well in the Champions League the last couple of rounds, so maybe we can fight back. There was some madness stuff went on. you've just mentioned the Bournemouth VAR thing. I mean, Cunha was the best head loss of the weekend until Anthony Gordon made it less funny today. I don't know what Cunha was playing at because he's going to get probably 4 games.
At least, yeah.
And then there was our mate, Michael Oliver, and that challenge. I feel sorry for them because you just put I've seen it like a side-by-side photo of the Lewis Skelly sending off. And the first one, they got rescinded, and then the Millwall one. And obviously the caption being Oliver thought this was a red card, but didn't think this was a red card. And it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but fucking hell. And it was just mental. So it was quite a dramatic weekend. Obviously, Plymouth went 1-0 up. We had penalties at Bournemouth. The Newcastle game. I've quite enjoyed it in parts, until it all went tits up. It was a good game of football. Brighton are a good team. They've got some really good players. I love Carlos Baliba. He's absolutely outstanding. I made Bob watch him. That's how Bob plays the game. He's a little sort of holding midfielder. And I said to Bob before the game, see him, that's you. You need to be like him. And he was great, absolutely great. He should have got sent off. But he was great again. So I enjoyed the game. And then obviously there was drama in Man United, very Fulham penalties, etc. So it was a bit of a mad weekend. But yeah, I mean, any thoughts on Cunha, Mateta, Oliver, any of that?
No, as you say, I mean, the Mateta one was one of the most horrible challenges I've seen. Not good. And the Cunha one was just bonkers. Having scored an absolute worldie as well in that game to go and do that. And as you say, he's already had a red card this season, so he will get done for at least 4, as you say. Massive blow for Wolves to lose him for that length of time.
So I've dug out, Barry. This jotter, do you know what's in the back of this jotter? This jotter is the tit list, Barry. My suggestion, Anthony Gordon is not going to Wembley, but he very much might be going on the tit list. I'm quite happy to ditch Anthony. Anthony, if anything, Anthony's redeemed himself by going elsewhere. And I think just demonstrating that he hates Man United by being good for Betis. So I'm quite happy to scrub Anthony off and replace him with Anthony Gordon. You any issues with that?
No objections whatsoever. Stick him on there. What a tit.
I don't even have to scribble out the word Anthony. I can just write the word Gordon after it, Barry. It's very, it's a cost-effective, a labour-saving exchange on the tit list. Anthony Gordon goes in at number 5, joining Goldbridge, Owen, Ferdinand, Arteta and Havertz on there. So there you go. Let's say hello to the people who've turned up in the chat from the bottom up. Imran, how you doing? Imran's already given us a couple of picks. Liverpool, PSG to draw. Real Sociedad, Man United. I haven't obviously handicapped that game, but I might, if you try and remember to mention it, it's definitely worth a little look at as well. Harry, Doherty, Chelsea. How we doing? Serial. See, I haven't seen Serial for a little while. Welcome along, Tarek. Callum is here. Koisty's going through it as well. Rangers are as bad as Man United. That would be, well, in fact, they played each other quite recently and we're about the same level. So, yeah, Rangers are going through it as well. John Colourface here. The Bacchus family. Manchester United to concede the first goal. You need merch, Bacchus family, with that. Hit again. 5-4 it was this time. But holy shit. It's been an absolute benefit. That's putting the Bacchus kids through college. Slick Rick's just joined us as well. So welcome along. Baz, anything else you want to talk about for the weekend before we fire into the Champions League?
I'm frantically looking at the price for Real Sociedad to score the first goal against Manchester United. That's just the play every week, isn't it? You've just got to take Man United's opposition to score the first goal. But
so I did have a look. I mean, we're gonna have a look at it now. Just because I wanted to take Sociedad, the 21-20 plus 105 Real Sociedad, and there's absolutely no reason not to bet them. Like again, Manchester United were very, very, very poor. Again, showed a little bit of resilience again today, like coming from 1-0 down. But you're talking about them as if they're Port Vale or something when you say, "Oh, they were plucky." You know, they were at home to Fulham, and they were the second best team on the pitch again. And like you say, without Bruno Fernandes, they'd been absolutely lost again. So Sociedad at plus money any time, any team at plus money to take on Man United of any sort of level has to be worth a go. And Sociedad fit that bill completely and utterly agree. Right, okay. Let's get stuck into these Champions League games because there are some good ones. We've been rather harshly accused of being negative about the Champions League, Barry, but there's some belting games this week. March Madness is coming up, and we've got Merch Madness here at the SGP and Merch store, 20% off with the promo code MADNESS, so get yourself in there. And SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstake, racetrack, casino. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards. It's FDIC insured. There's no credit checks, and it's completely free. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport. The live dealer casino's in there. It's accessible from tons of locations. Great speed on the payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Sociedad first goal is around what minus 145, so about 1-2. Courtney reckons.
That's it's a bit bigger. It's a bit bigger here, Malcolm. We get 8-13, which is what 155.
The bookies are on to us. Slick Rick's asking where's the bracket challenge, Baz. You can sort that out tomorrow. You've got nothing else to do. The Americans love a bracket, so you can sort that out. Right, we start with an early kickoff on Tuesday, 5:45 kickoff, which is 12:45 Eastern time, and it is Club Brugge. I'm going with Bruges, not Brugge. Is the way to say it nowadays. Taking on Aston Villa. Bruges have drifted a little bit actually in the last couple of hours. They were 7-4, plus 175 this afternoon. They're 19-10, plus 190 now. The draw is 23-10, plus 230. And Villa have hardened slightly from 6-4 to 7-5, plus 140. Aston Villa. This is obviously the first leg of a two-leg tie, so we'll give the qualifying prices as well to emerge from the tie to advance in your bracket, Rick. Bruges are 9-4, plus 225. Aston Villa are 3-10, minus 333. As Michael joins us in the chat. Michael, welcome along. So I got Bruges wrong last time, Baz, against Atalanta. That was one of those where we were on different sides and you came out on top, which has been happening a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I've maybe underestimated them a little bit. In this competition, they've got 5 wins in 10 now, which is a good record. 3 of those 5 wins have been at home. Now, 2 of those were in fairly similar comp games. I'd put up Atalanta and Sporting Lisbon as similar comps to Villa, maybe the second tier of these Champions League teams. The third one was a really good comp because it was actually Aston Villa. And Bruges won that one 1-0. But if you remember the mad penalty when Tyrone Mings just picked the ball up from a goal kick and they got the penalty and scored, and that was the end of that. Villa finished in the top 8, so they had no need for a playoff. They made it straight into this round. 5 wins from 8. 2 of those were on the road. But the Prem form, Baz, is poor. 1 win in 7. And away from home in the Prem, they've only won 4 of 13. So I don't like Villa as favourites here. I don't think Bruges will lose. And also, I don't think Villa will win. Now, you might think they're the same thing, but they're not. However, I'm also playing with scared money, Baz, coming off a fucking terrible weekend. I know Sean and Ryan always said scared money doesn't make money or some shit like that. Well, my money is absolutely terrified at the minute. There's going to be a lot of fence sitting from me. Bruges draw no bet, Baz. Like I say, I don't think Villa will win. I don't think Bruges will lose. So I think we've got the 2 options. But Bruges draw no bet is 9-10 at -111. And I'm also going to put out Bruges to qualify from the tie at 9-4. I think it's too big. I don't think there's much between them. Like I say, Villa's struggling away. We saw Bruges win at home against Atalanta and then protect a 1-goal lead. We could very much be in the same boat here. If they could nick this at home and protect a 1-goal lead at Villa Park in a couple of weeks, it's the same thing. I think 9-4 is a big price. They should be a little bit closer together, Barry.
Yeah, I agree with that on the outright. I think this will be a competitive one. We've got Kian in the chat, who is a Villa fan. He likes Villa team total, over 1.5 goals, which is interesting because I've gone for something a little bit different to that. Because I like Bruges. The record in this competition has been quite solid, particularly in the more recent games. Just one defeat to Man City in the last 7 games in this competition. And the home form's been really good. They beat Atlanta at home. Atalanta, not Atlanta. They beat Sporting, and most importantly, they beat Villa at home in the group stage. As you say, it was a little bit of an odd one, that one. But they also had a good draw at home against Juventus. So the home form's really good. So I was a little bit surprised to see Villa favourites for this one, to be honest. Certainly for this leg. Villa's still a little unpredictable lately. Won at the weekend against Cardiff, but beaten by Palace the week before. Recently dropped points to Wolves and Ipswich. So I think Villa are far from guaranteed to come through this tie. And I like Bruges to get off to a decent start here. I do like the goals also. 4 of Bruges' last 5 games in this competition have went over 2.5 and both teams to score. So I didn't mind the over 2.5 goals here at even money. I didn't mind Bruges at 7-4. I think that they were reasonable enough price for me. So I sort of landed on something that fit both of those. I like the goals. I like Bruges here. So I went for the Bruges team total. I've taken Bruges over 1.5 at 6-4. I think Bruges will get a couple of goals here. Villa may well get a couple as well. And you'll cash, you'll get your money back on a draw possibly. But yeah, the pick for me is the Bruges team total over 1.5 at 6-4.
Tell you what, I wish I could bottle some of Keane's positivity. I was sitting here miserable as sin about Newcastle's chances in the cup final, etc. And Keane's just dead bullish about his team. I don't know how people do it, Barry. I was thinking about this in the lead up to the Super Bowl because I listened to all of the podcasts and all Sean was just so vehemently convinced that the Eagles were going to win his team. And I'm just at the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. Keane, I was talking about getting some therapy last week. So if you can write me 3 lines there as to how to be positive about my own football team, because Keane's well and truly on the side of Villa in this one, where both the opposite. I thought Villa were quite good again the other night. I know it was Cardiff City, but and like I say, it was the away form, and we've spelled it out like so. Yeah, there's only one way to find out. We'll do that on Tuesday night. 8 o'clock kickoffs, then we've got 3 on Tuesday. The first of which is Borussia Dortmund taking on Lille. Dortmund are 4-6, -150, 14-5, +280 the draw. Lille are 4-1 to qualify from the tie. Dortmund are also 4-6, -150, 6-5, +120 for Lille, Barry.
Yeah. Start with Lille. Lille have gone very well in this competition. They've got wins over Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Milan, hammered Feyenoord, good draw against Juventus, and plenty of goals in their games as well. Last 6 games in the Champions League went both teams to score, and 5 of the 6 also went over 2.5 goals. I don't feel like Dortmund's form in this is as strong. They had a good win over Sporting in the qualifiers, good 3-0 in the first leg. And then saw it out in the second. But they've stuttered a little bit against the better sides. Milan, Barcelona, Madrid have all beat them. And their wins mostly came against some of the lesser sides in the group stage. Sturm Graz, Bratislava, Celtic, Bruges, for example, were the teams that they were beaten. Also plenty of goals in their games as well, though. 8 of their 10 games they've played so far in the Champions League have went over 2.5 goals. And the second leg versus Sporting, which was the 0-0, was the first one in which they've failed to register a goal in the Champions League, but they were 3-0 up already in that one, so it wasn't really necessary. So at the prices, I thought the over 2.5 was the way to go here. Both sides can play their part in this, and I think it's an all right price. It's 4-5, so you don't need to tag on anything else with it. I'll just take the over 2.5 goals between Dortmund and Lille at 4-5.
Dortmund missed a pen in that game against Sporting as well that cost us, if you remember rightly. I got the exact same pick, Baz. We've landed on the same side again. I thought over 2.5 at 4-5, minus 125 was a decent price. Dortmund cruised past Sporting, 6 wins from 10. But I made the same sort of observations that you did. They've beaten the teams that they should be beating. And then the 3 defeats, 2 of them against Real and Barca. So they're all, put them in that same kind of B category as we've just put sort of Villa and Brugge in there rather than the top teams. Like for a big name team, Dortmund, they're not playing like that. And they're not playing like that in Germany either. They have scored a lot of goals, so that's 25 in the 10 Champions League games. It's the home form that's keeping them going because they're actually 10th in the league. Lille qualified in the top 8 with 8 wins. Decent results, decent form against Real, Atletico, Feyenoord. But goals, 6 in a row, both teams to score, and 5 of them have gone over 2.5. 6 out of the last 7 in France, both teams to score and over 2.5. So yeah, stick with that. But I was going to try and cobble them together because I thought it would be a short price, and then I saw the price you did, 4-5, Barry, for the 2.5. And I stopped handicapping there. So yeah, Dortmund v Lille over 2.5 goals because you might just get a 3-0. Over 2.5 is 4-5, minus 125. Pete's Picks joined us. Pete's asking about the Cheltenham preview. Pete, I'll message you this week, so keep an eye on your DMs, and we'll definitely put a little preview show. We can do it live or record it or whatever you like. But yeah, I'll sort that out tomorrow or something. So keep your eyeballs peeled, mate. Where are we going? 8 o'clock kickoff between PSV Eindhoven and Arsenal. PSV are 5-2 plus 250. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. Arsenal are even money to emerge from the tie. PSV 3-1 and Arsenal 1-5 minus 500. PSV had a really exciting playoff against Juventus, very dramatic, extra time and all that malarkey. And they've actually won 5 of the last 7 Champions League games, including the last 4 home games. So the form isn't to be sniffed at all, really. They've got form against PSG. They beat Liverpool, although Liverpool, it was match day 8 when Liverpool phoned it in slightly. They beat Juventus. They've looked okay, loads of goals. But the presence of Arsenal in this doesn't make me want to take the total on. It just sort of muddies the waters slightly. They're not in great form in the Eredivisie. They've got no one in 4, but they're unbeaten at home in 12 games in that division. Arsenal won 6 of 8. Relatively easy schedule for Arsenal, but you can only beat what they put in front of you. And they did score quite a lot of goals early on when they had all their strikers available, Baz. But 4 out of their 5 in the Prem have gone under 2.5. Like I say, I didn't want to get involved with the totals. PSV are competitive, Baz. We've just seen Arsenal unable to go and win at Forest, that 0-0 draw. And they are struggling. They're absolutely short of attackers. We've seen Arsenal, and we've said it repeatedly, not quite top class. I saw them twice struggle against Newcastle, and I feel like that's the angle here. It's a double chance, Baz, for me, because that with PSV being hung out at 5-2, you can get a half decent price on the double chance. Harry likes PSV to qualify at 3-1. I mean, we did see Arsenal go down in a 2-legged affair against Newcastle. Not a bad comparison, really. But for this game, PSV double chance to win or draw, 4-5 minus 125.
Yeah, PSV to qualify, I do think is worth a punt at that price, to be honest, just because of the troubles Arsenal are having at the minute. PSV just continue to get better into this as this tournament goes on. They had no win in their first 3, and then they won 4 of the next 5 to get to the knockouts, and then a really, really good win over Juventus to get to this stage. The home form stands out as well. 4 wins and a draw in their 5 home games. And they scored 3 or more in 4 straight. And that includes 3 over Liverpool, albeit with Liverpool being qualified at that point and not really caring. Seen 20 goals in their 5 home games, PSV as well. So plenty of goals in their games. So my first thought here was PSV 5-2 looked attractive before I even got to looking at Arsenal. But there's no doubt Arsenal struggling, and we know why. They haven't got the goals in them at the minute. They failed to score in 3 of the last 4 games now. The only win in the last 4 was against Leicester, and even that one they left late on. So it's really hard to want Arsenal away from home as favourites in this one. It's not for me. It's not to say they won't do something, but I'm happy to keep fading Arsenal at the moment. And what's worked for me very well recently is that double chance. I took the double chance on Forest, which came good for me. So exactly the same as you, Team Ride. I'm on the PSV double chance. PSV to win or draw, 4-5.
This has got to be sour for you, Barry. The last thing you want is to be landing on the same picks as me at the minute. You want to get your head back in these notes once we come off the show. Andy Williams has joined us. Andy, me and Andy have had a giggle this weekend at various kids' football things. He's asking if he's missed Battleships. Do not panic, Andy. Battleships is coming right up. Okay, we've got a Madrid derby to look forward to. Once I've told you about Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party Wednesday, March the 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks. You can hang out with the boys from SGPN and the college experience as well. They're giving away a $250 March Madness future. All you have to do is sign up for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. There's a free party plus a chance at a $250 future bet. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. And Underdog, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in big with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is offering a Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game for the rest of the regular season. Also for football diehards, Pick'em projections for selected 40-yard dash times during this week's NFL Combine. That's a real D-Gen play, that. I love it. Our code to sign up is PLGP. We'll get you a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. Okay, Coisty's going to be in Vegas for March Madness. Shit. Incredibly jealous, Coisty. If you want to bankroll me and Baz, we can send you our PayPal details and you can sort that out, no problem. 8 o'clock kickoff on Tuesday. The final game on the Tuesday slate is an absolute belter between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid are 5-6, round about -118 on the night. 27-10 plus 270 the draw. 29-10 plus 290 Atletico. To qualify, Real Madrid 4-6 -150 and Atletico 5-4 plus 125. Barry.
Yes, Real Madrid the outright favourites for this now. I think 7-2 or 100-30 price to win the tournament, but it's a big old hurdle list to overcome here. First of all, and by no means certain, I think, to get through. And I think it's reflected in the prices. Real Madrid 8-13 to qualify, and 17-20 at home to win this one. I think shows this is a competitive game, a tough game, and it's not hard to see why the books have got Real not massive favourites here. Atletico are unbeaten in 8 head-to-head games against Real now, and they've lost only once in the last 10 head-to-heads. Loads of draws. 7 of the last 10 games between these two sides have finished in a draw, including the last 5 straight games. So Real Madrid do have their struggles against Atletico, no doubt about it. And we know Atletico, they're built on the defence. They did concede 4 against Barcelona last week. That was the first time in 17 games that they'd conceded more than a single goal to anybody. So still really strong at the back. And as I say, always competitive in these games against Real Madrid. Last 3 head-to-heads all finished 1-1. And I think it all points to low scoring for me here, which is often the way where Atletico are involved. That I do like sort of taking on the goals. It's a decent price, under 2.5, at 10 to 11. As I say, with Atletico strong at the back, the last 3 head-to-heads have all gone to the unders. I think you have to go under 2.5 goals at 10 to 11. But also, as a side pick, I would definitely have a little bit on the draw again here. 27 to 10, almost 3 to 1 for the draw. Which, as I say, 7 of the last 10 head-to-heads have finished in a draw, so I'll have a little bit on the draw as well. But my main pick will be the unders, under 2.5 at 10 to 11.
Atletico are actually 2 points ahead of Real in La Liga and in slightly better form. Both games, they have played them the head-to-head this year, both finished 1-1. Real didn't start well in this competition here. They lost 3 of the first 5, but they did recover. And then you can add on the home and away wins against Manchester City in the playoffs. So that's 5 Champions League wins in a row now. But Atleti have also won 5 in a row, qualified in the top 8. There's really nothing to choose between them. Now, Slick Rick's just put in the chat that it's got draw written all over it. Then Real win the away leg on some late bullshit. I actually factored in the late bullshit in this game. As we just explained at the top of the show, the football gods are very much playing a big role in my life at the moment. And this has got football gods written all over it because Real Madrid always win. Slick Rick's got them doing it in 2 weeks' time. I think they'll just sneak it this time. There's very, very little to choose between them. But like I say, on a day and a week and a month where the football gods have got their fingerprints all over my business, I'm going to take Real at 5 to 6 to get it done on the night, -118, because they always do, Barry. Right, okay, Andy's here. He's been asking about the battleships, Baz. I've been having a look at this. I'm banging trouble, Barry. I'm bewildered. I'm absolutely bewildered by the battleships. This is pure and utter chance now. I think I'm goosed, but it's your turn, so come on. You're on mute, by the way, before you fight. Whatever you do, don't fire off the winning shot on mute. That would be a disaster.
That would be awful, wouldn't it? I've got a couple of options. I've highlighted 3 squares that I want to target next, Malcolm. So there's a strategy here.
This is going to finish off my weekend, Barry. This.
No, I don't think I'll get you here, but we'll go with F10.
F10 is a miss, Barry. That is a miss. Oof. Live to fight another day. Maybe Keane's positivity's right rubbing off on me, but I'm in an absolute world of shit here. I'm going to have to gut this out and go for A8.
A8 is a miss.
Shit off. What a load of bollocks. Right, we move on to Wednesday. I'm so angry.
You could do, Malcolm, you could do with pausing battleships for a couple of weeks whilst you're in such terrible form.
I just want it over with, Barry. The sweet release of death when your fucking bomb hits my cruiser would just... I can't wait for it. I welcome it, Barry. I welcome that sinking feeling. Early kickoff on Wednesday is Feyenoord taking on Inter Milan. Feyenoord are 17 to 4. Biggest price of the week is an outright, plus 425. 31 to 10, plus 310 the draw. Inter Milan 4 to 7, -175. To qualify, Feyenoord 8 to 1. And Inter Milan very prohibitive at 1 to 12, -1200. Feyenoord have got 4 wins in the league phase of this competition. They then knocked out AC Milan in the playoffs, capitalising on that Theo Hernandez red card was the big turning point in the second leg there. Having won the home leg 1-0, they're 4th in the Dutch league. They've drawn far too many games. They've drawn 8 out of 24 there. Inter are a cut above here. A cut above AC Milan, anyway, who Feyenoord knocked out last time. They won 6 of their 8 games. They kept 7 clean sheets in that league phase in the 8 games, which is pretty impressive. They haven't conceded many in Serie A, only 25 in 27 games. and the last 3 have all gone under 2.5. The under 2.5's plus money here, I thought was too big. 11-10 plus 110. I think Inter Milan can strangle this. Maybe nick it 1-0. They'll be happy with a 0-0 as well. But I'll take the under 2.5 goals between Feyenoord and Inter at 11-10 plus 110.
Yeah, Feyenoord haven't taken out one off of Milan. Get a chance to go and do it again against Inter. But like you, I think I would definitely favour Inter in this one. Feyenoord have had some good results in this, as well as beating Milan. They've beaten Bayern, beaten Benfica, held City to a draw. And the games have been full of goals, or certainly they were in the group stages. 8 of 8 went over 2.5 goals, but then back-to-back unders in those games against Milan. So certainly see why you would go to the unders. First thing that stands out with Inter, last 4, all under 2.5 goals. 6 of the 8 in this competition, all under 2.5 goals. 5 of their 8 games finished 1-0 either way. I think they lost 1-0 and won the other 4-1-0. There was also a 0-0 in there. So loads and loads of pointers towards the unders. Inter only conceded 1 goal in the whole of the group stage. So I've got 2 fancies here. Unders is the first one, same as you. Plus money, I think, is a great price, 11-10 for the under 2.5 goals here. I mean, as I say, I conceded 1 goal in 8 games. Plus money for unders, definitely attractive. I do think Inter, I fancy Inter to win it. And you said the price is prohibitive. I seen it was 4-7. If you tag on under 4 goals and Inter to win, get in at 7-5 with under 4 goals. There's no way they're winning by more than like 1-0, 2-0, or maybe the chance of a 2-1. So yeah, if you do fancy Inter, I think one way of playing it, you could tag on that under 4 and get them at 7-5 plus 140 would be one way of playing it. But my main pick's exactly the same as yours, Team Ride. I'll take the under 2.5 goals between Feyenoord and Milan, and Inter Milan, sorry, at 11-10.
That is nicely sniffed out, Baz. That 7-5 play. I like it. Fefwef, that is a scurrilous accusation that I'll be moving my ship. So I refute that in the strongest terms. We move on to the 3 8 p.m. kickoffs on Wednesday night. Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen. We've had an all Spanish game. We now get an all German game. Bayern Munich are 3-4, minus 133. The draw 14-5, plus 280. And Leverkusen are Burlington Birdie, 100-30, plus 333. To qualify, Bayern 1-2, minus 200, and 11-8, plus 137. Leverkusen bat.
Yeah, this one's got a lot of similarities with that Real and Atletico game. Yes. Because the head-to-head record, Leverkusen have got a really, really good record against Bayern at the moment. Bayern haven't won this head-to-head in 6 games now. And Bayern have been bang average in this competition so far, particularly in the knockout stage there, the qualifier against Celtic, where they were poor in both legs. Still going strong enough domestically. They've got an 8-point lead over Leverkusen. But as I say, they haven't been that impressive in the Champions League at all. Leverkusen are in good form recently, conceded only 2 goals in the last 6 games. All 3 of the head-to-heads, so they played 3 times already this season. All 3 of the head-to-heads going under 2.5 goals. I know you've liked playing the unders on the Bayern games quite a bit, but usually you're getting the under 3.5 at a reasonable price. Not so much here. I like Leverkusen to get something. They've been better than Bayern in the recent encounters when they've played each other. They played it 2 weeks ago, 0-0 draw. You look at the stats for that game, Bayern only had 2 shots all game, not 1 shot on target. Leverkusen had about 13 shots and an XG of over 2. By all means, very unlucky not to come away with a win in that one in the cup, in the league. Sorry, even money here, double chance for Leverkusen. They've not lost this fixture in 6 now. It just seems a fair price. You give me evens on a team that's not losing to Bayern regularly. I'll take Leverkusen double chance, win or draw at evens.
Yeah, we talked about that 0-0 draw, didn't we? I think it was before the Celtic game. We used it to handicap that Celtic game, and it was Bayern's approach to the game that we talked about. They just wanted to protect that. It was an 8-point lead, I think it was at the time. And and it was slightly negative, and we said that as they had a lead against Celtic, that they might sort of be fairly similar. Bayern did just squeeze past Celtic. They only won 4 games. It's a really unpredictable form line with Munich. They've got some big old wins, and they've got some horrible defeats in there as well. It's all over the shop. 5 wins and a draw for Leverkusen. They did only win once away from home, but they were competitive. They beat Inter Milan. They lost 2-1 to Atletico. They beat AC Milan. Bayern have got an 8-point lead. And at home in Bundesliga, they've won 11, drawn 1, undefeated. The draw was with Leverkusen. The 2 head-to-heads finished 1-1 and 0-0. Having talked about Bayern's approach a couple of weeks ago, I think Leverkusen this time might be the ones to force the narrative, Barry, over the 2 legs, and just be happy to take something back with them. So again, not ruling them out. I'm going to side with that data of the 2 head-to-heads. We've seen a 1-1. We've seen a 0-0. Under 2.5. I hate taking all these unders. It's that dark cloud again, Barry. Won't allow me to even project anyone's going to have any fun. Under 2.5 goals is 11-10, plus 110. What cereal's having a right good mood tonight? Shut up, cereal. Yeah, 2 bets. It's 2 bets. I think we've outlawed that since I started taking it, cereal. Badirium's joined us. Hey! Good evening, Uzbekistan. We've been waiting for you. Everyone can start enjoying themselves now. Badirium's here. Welcome. Hope you're doing okay. Right, let's move on to... This is a mad game as well. The next 2 games are bonkers. 8 o'clock, Benfica take on Barcelona. Benfica 14-5, plus 280. The draw 14-5, plus 280. Barcelona 5-6, minus 120. To qualify, Benfica 7-2, plus 350. 1-5. Was that 1-8? Can't read my own writing. 1-5, I think it is. Minus 500 Barcelona. The Benfica form is absolutely all over the place. 4-0 win against Atletico Madrid. They won 2-0 in Juventus, but then they've lost at home to Feyenoord. The last 2 home games were a 0-0 with Bologna and a 3-3 with Monaco. So, I mean, I don't know what you're meant to do with any of that. Every arrow just goes in a different direction. And then you throw in the fact that they lost 5-4 at home to Barcelona in match day 7. They've won 11 of 12 at home in Portugal. But as we often say, the level of opposition there is very questionable. Barcelona won 6 out of 8. 3 of those were away from home. And in those 3 games, they scored 5, 3 and 5. They've won 6 in a row in La Liga, 9 of 14 away from home in La Liga, including scoring 4 goals at Real, 5 at Villarreal and Mallorca, 4 at Sevilla, 4 at Girona. Over 3.5 goals is a good price at evens. But if there's going to be that many goals in the game, I just prefer Barcelona to score more of them. And what that means is they're going to win if they score more goals, Baz. That's how it works. Just Barcelona are going to beat them, I think. 5-6, minus 120.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It could be a good one. Two teams with plenty of attacking intent. As you say, we saw them play out that 5-4 in the group. 16 shots on target in total in that game. We also saw Benfica play out a high scoring 3-3 in the last round against Monaco as well. Barcelona in good form at the minute. They're unbeaten in 15, full of goals. 8 of their last 13 games have saw them score 4 or more. They're a really short price to qualify in this. And I think that's probably fair enough. But I expect Benfica, I'll give them a decent game here in the home leg to start with. I thought you had to go with goals. And I think both teams will play their part. I like the over 3.5 at evens. I don't mind your pick. You're right. If you'd fancy Barcelona to get the better of it and have the most of them. But I can see Benfica playing their part as well. So I'll just take the over 3.5 between Benfica and Barca at even money.
Okay, that was my other pick, Baz. So you've covered all the bases there. Finally, another absolute beauty this should be between Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool. PSG have been backed in here. They were 6-4 plus 150. They are now 11-8 plus 138. The draw is plus 260, 13-5, and the draw and Liverpool, sorry, is 7-4 plus 175. Just getting a bit confused by the line movement there. Liverpool are the same price. PSG have shortened, and the draw is the one that's on the drift here. Baz, PSG v Liverpool.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Two teams flying domestically, both in really good form. PSG have won 22 games unbeaten now in all competitions and won the last 10 in a row. And also won the last 5 straight games in the Champions League, scoring 21 goals in those 5 games as well. So they're another team who've definitely got stronger as this competition's gone on, but also as the season generally's gone on. They seem to be getting better as it goes along. Liverpool also going very well, but plenty of teams have been competitive against them recently. So I do think this one will be competitive again, particularly with PSG at home. With the exception of the final group game, obviously, where PSV beat Liverpool, obviously Liverpool have been in very, very good form in this competition. And I think they look tempting at 7-4, given how they've played in the competition so far. But the books are expecting goals here. The over 2.5 goals is 8-15. Obviously a very short price. But I think Liverpool will go toe-to-toe with PSG here in this first leg. And I think the Liverpool team total appeals. You get a decent price because Liverpool are 7-4. I think if we're going to get the over 2.5, there's a good chance Liverpool will get at least a couple of them. So I'll take the Liverpool team total. That's even money. They've scored 2 or more in 5 straight games now in all competitions, and in 11 of their last 12, they've scored 2 goals. So yeah, I like Liverpool to score 2 or more at evens.
Yeah, the goals markets are really, really short, Baz. So for you to find an even money shot in there, you've done well. Both teams to score and over 2.5 are both sort of north of 1-2 minus 200. PSG's, it's real head scratching form because they're so far better than anyone else domestically. You can't get a good form line on them. They played Brest in the playoffs, another French team, and knocked them over 10-0 over the 2 games. They had a 3-0 and a 7-0. They beat Lille, a team we've already talked about, just being live in this competition. They beat Lille 4-0. They played in the Cup semi-final against some third division team and beat them like 6-1 in the Coupe de France semi-final. So it's really hard to get a bead on it. You have to do it via the Champions League. Liverpool obviously won the first 7 games, then phoned it in against PSV. Solid form. They continue to be very much in control in the Premier League. Hopefully, it's a really, really good game. It's going to be lively. Atmosphere. PSG are going to get stuck into them. And I tried to find something approaching evens in the goals market, and I did it, Baz, but it's a different pick to you. I've got PSG to score in the first half because I just think they'll come flying at them. They'll absolutely come flying at them. And PSG have been full of goals. The front players look really, really lively. So PSG to score in the first half is 4-5, minus 125. On the grounds, the books expect goals kind of all over the place in this game. That looks like a decent angle in at a fair enough price. So a little bit different, that one. But yeah, PSG to score a first half goal, 4-5, minus 125. And I believe, Barry, unless you've got any ACEs or anything like that, that's the Champions League covered.
Well and truly covered. Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Well and truly covered. Okay, well, we did all right there, Baz. We weren't too miserable. I think we got over the Newcastle and Anthony Gordon thing pretty quick. The IT department is under strict instructions to not talk to me until 48 hours after the cup final. So that's the rule we've established in this house. So 2 weeks and 2 days from now, she's allowed to ask me something. But other than that, it's just a wall of silence that's going on here. So I never did get around to that therapy that we're talking about. Anything else you want to point out, Barry, before we let the people go?
No, nothing I can think about. Apart from the fact I was 10 minutes late tonight. Did you notice I sneakily changed the stream start time?
No, I noticed you didn't message me either. You just allowed me to sit here like a twat.
Well, you've done it before where you were running late, so rather than do anything in terms of turning up late. You just change the stream time to suit your arrival.
Is that your new thing now, is it?
So I thought, well, the only reason was we've been binge watching a television series this weekend, and I put the very final episode on at like it was touch and go whether I would finish it by 10:30. I thought I might just make it, and then at some point I had to pause it for 5 minutes, and I thought there's no way, and I'd have been in trouble if I'd said to her, right, we need to leave the last 10 minutes of this series because I've got to go do a podcast. So that's why I pushed it back. But I've been watching 1,000 Blows, which was a very good series.
1,000 Blows?
Yeah. It's a gritty Victorian drama on Disney Plus with Stephen Graham. Bit of violence and criminal stuff. It's good. Really good. Highly recommended.
Funnily enough, Barry, I don't watch... Oh, well, I'm not going to say I don't watch telly, because I watch telly 24 hours a day, but I don't watch many like series kind of things, box sets, things that people get into. But only last night, I was bored out my tree, well and truly football out. And on Netflix, I put on a series called Rolling Point. It was like a basketball thing, but it's just a comedy about the Los Angeles Waves and the dysfunctional family who run them. And it's comedy, but it's good. And it's obviously a little bit of a sporty angle. And then Bob came through and started watching that. So we watched another couple tonight. So that's kept my mind occupied a little bit. So there you go. Two TV recommendations for finishing on. Michael's asking if we've got any goal scorers. I think he's also asking if everyone prefers me or you.
We'll put a Twitter poll out for that one.
We are both disliked in equal measure, I think would be the... I think it depends who's winning, innit? Because in January, early February, I couldn't lose. And then I reckon since mid-Feb onwards, I'm on about 3-25. And you've taken the baton, but it's very rare we got on a simultaneous streak pass. It tends to be one of us running hot and the other one running cold. It's there's no method to it at all. So, right, okay. I think we're done. We'll come back on Wednesday night, something like that. I don't know. Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. Enjoy the games anyway. Like I say, hopefully there's some really good games, and we might have some winners in there. Change my luck. Thanks everyone for joining us. The chat made me giggle all night tonight. Everyone was in very good form. Keep your eyes peeled for the schedule. Like, rate, review, thumbs up, all that bollocks. And we will see you all down the road. Cheers.